Armando Resendiz's victory over Caleb Plant wasn't just a win. It was a seismic shockwave through the boxing world. A split decision on the cards, yes. 116, 1-12, 1-13, 115, 116, 1-12. But emotionally, it was a unanimous declaration that the underdog has teeth and he's coming for blood. On paper, this fight looked like a stepping stone for Plant to reclaim relevance. In the ring, it became a redefinition of Resendiz's career, and perhaps the beginning of the end for Plant's top-tier status. Let's start with the stakes. Caleb Plant, a former IBF super middleweight champion, was expected to cruise through this bout. He had the experience, the resume, the spotlight. Resendiz, in contrast, was viewed as tough but beatable. Hungry, sure, but raw. Dangerous, but still developing. The WBA Interim title wasn't just a belt in this context. It was a lifeline for both fighters. For Plant, it was a way back into the mix for a Canelo rematch or a showdown with David Benavidez. For Resendiz, it was a rocket, booster into stardom, and he took that rocket and launched himself right past Plant's defenses. From the opening bell, Resendiz made it clear he wasn't there to survive. He was there to win. His game plan was fearless. Pressure, volume, and body work. He didn't care about Plant's polished footwork or slick counters. He just kept pushing forward. Round after round, Resendiz attacked like a man possessed. And while Plant landed the cleaner shots in flashes, they were too few, too inconsistent. Resendiz, meanwhile, dug to the body, smothered Plant on the ropes, and forced the pace every minute of every round. What made the fight even more compelling was how it flipped the narrative. Plant is usually the ring general, the technician. But against Resendiz, he looked reactive. He had his moments in the middle rounds, especially in the 5th and 6th, where he found some rhythm, circling and jabbing, timing Resendiz with sharp eye counters. But he never took control. He never discouraged Resendiz. And that's the part that should concern Plant's team the most. Resendiz was getting tagged, and he didn't care. This wasn't just about power or conditioning. It was about mental will. Plant couldn't break Resendiz's focus. If anything, the more Plant landed, the harder Resendiz came forward. That kind of psychological pressure wears a fighter down. It's not just the punches, it's the feeling that nothing you're doing is working. And by round 10, you could see it. The doubt in Plant's eyes. The rhythm was gone. The movement slower. The combination shorter. Meanwhile, Resendiz kept walking him down, round after round, deaf to the cheers and the commentary and the history books. Just fists and fury. Let's talk about the scoring. 2 judges had it 116, 112 for Resendiz. One had it 115, 113 for Plant. That split card is going to be debated for a while. Plant fans will point to cleaner work in the middle rounds, his ring IQ, and moments of defensive brilliance. But you can't win rounds you don't control. And even when Plant landed, it often wasn't enough to swing the momentum. Resendiz wasn't stealing rounds. He was taking them. The 12th round sealed it. That final frame was a summary of everything that happened before it. Resendiz chasing, throwing, pressing, Plant circling, picking spots, but looking like a man trying to hold off a storm with an umbrella. You could feel the crowd shift. That nervous energy. The realization that the expected wasn't happening. Resendiz wasn't fading. He was getting stronger. And when the final bell rang, you could see it in Resendiz's corner. That stillness before the announcement, then the explosion when his hand was raised. An upset? Absolutely. But only if you believe the hype over the hunger. Resendiz didn't just win. He earned it in every sense of the word. He walked through fire and came out swinging. The aftermath? Huge implications. For Resendiz, this is a star-making moment. He just beat a former world champion on a big stage. He's now the WBA Interim super middleweight champion. That puts him in line for some of the biggest names in the division, Canelo Alvarez, David Benavidez, maybe even Jermall Charlo. And what's scary is that he's only going to get better. This wasn't a perfect performance. It was raw, aggressive, and a bit reckless at times. But it was effective. And it showed that he has something you can't teach: heart. For Caleb Plant, the questions now outweigh the answers. This is his second straight loss. After being stopped by Benavidez in a brutal war, now he drops a decision to a fighter most people viewed as a level below. What does that say about where Plant is mentally? Physically? Has he hit a wall? Or was this just a case of underestimating a hungry fighter with nothing to lose? Plant still has tools. Great footwork, excellent timing, and one of the best jabs in the division. But his inability to adjust under pressure is becoming a pattern. Against Canelo, he faded late. Against Benavidez, he got mauled. And now, against Resendiz, he got outworked. The slick boxer who once seemed destined to unify belts now faces a harsh reality. If you can't adapt, you get left behind. And let's not overlook the psychology of this sport. Boxing is cruel. 2 losses back-to-back can derail a career. Not because the fighter is done, but because the public decides they are. Plant still has name value, but the mystique is fading. And fighters like Resendiz are rising, hungry, fearless, and with nothing to protect. That's dangerous. Resendiz didn't just win a belt. He announced himself as a real player in one of boxing's deepest divisions. This isn't a Cinderella story, it's a blueprint. Pressure, heart, volume. He showed that even in a world dominated by hype and branding, substance still wins fights. He reminded fans why they love boxing: the drama, the upsets, the moments when the guy who wasn't supposed to win tears up the script and writes his own ending. There's a reason boxing isn't scripted. Because moments like this only work when they're real. And on this night, Armando Resendiz was as real as it gets. For fans, this fight was a gift. A reminder that the best moments in boxing aren't always the ones we expect. Sometimes they come from the underdog, the overlooked, the underestimated. And when that underdog fights with nothing to lose and everything to prove, magic happens. Resendiz's win over Plant will be remembered not just for the upset, but for the message it sent. Titles are earned in blood and sweat, not in press conferences. And in this fight, Armando Resendiz earned every ounce of gold around his waist. What comes next for Resendiz is a world